What is up, everybody? It is your boy Triple G93 here, giving you another live commentary of Halo Wars 2. And what I mean by live, I'm just, recording it. Anyways, starting off with a classic supply depot and then a power generator. Got my grunts going for the power at the top, and on the left side getting that supply before I grab mini and grabbing the other supplies that are right by my base. This is like a little classic opening, and so if someone comes through the teleporter and I see them, I can easily just go ahead and get that mini, make sure I always have at least 200 supply. And if I feel like it's safe, then I may go ahead and make the jump accordingly. So power extractor completed. Our third building point is that supply depot. I noticed that the enemies aren't nearby, so I'm going to just go ahead and take this chance and go for a power extractor. So getting that generator upgraded, getting that power extractor perfectly timed out. As soon as that supply depot finished, I went and built that generator. So that's good timing right there. That's what you want for a build order in general. Now, the grunt is heading over to the mini base location, and I have just enough supply for it as well, 200. So I'm going to go ahead and build a supply depot for my 5th building point, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the mini base just so I can make sure I have something building at all time. So looks like we're going with an economy build. We're going to wait until we have that 300 power to go ahead and get that power associated with it, and this is just a regular econ build. Now granted, there's no scouting to see what the enemy is doing, and so that's a risk that I'm willing to take, and I'm going to go ahead and try and get the the power nodes now. I did notice on the minimap that there is a couple grunts sitting on the right side, and so I'm going to go ahead and go after that. See if I can go ahead and take out some additional units whenever I can, and so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We got a war console also being made, trying to chase the grunts, but the grunts end up getting a little bit too far away, so I decided to go back to the power node, continue to work on that. So we're building Ghost with our ship master. That's right, I am playing ship master. This is something I just totally forgot to mention, but we're putting 2 points in the raid camp option. I don't think it's called raid camp, but we're putting 2 points in the first section just so we can get additional vision, and that Ghost can also capture nodes. I really do like this. Extractor is also a very good move, but given that the teleporters are relatively close and usually people play TP, I felt like extractor wasn't really the move to make here. So we got our grunts attacking the sentinels. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of miss micro. My ghost ended up taking a hit, and it's because it was too close. So we ended up retreating because we saw the Atriox showing up, so we did a full retreat. But there is a plan that is being set up to try to go ahead and take out that Atriox. You got light blue stoke trying to get those nodes on the left hand side. My shipmaster is out, and we're going to continue ghost production so we can go ahead and try and take out as much units as we can and try to retain what we can. I didn't go with shields. This was a little bit of a miss micro as well. We ended up losing a grunt, and infantry got veterancy because of that. We're still keeping a lookout for Atriox to show up. Atriox still has not shown up yet, so we go ahead and take out those units on the left side of the node. We're going to go ahead and start capping it with our ghost. And then we're going to send our shipmaster over to Pavian because we believe Atriox is somewhere around there. There's a lot of grunts that are being sent over there. Grab that second base because we feel like it's relatively safe. We haven't really seen light blue or dark blue whatsoever. Now we got a good Y move coming in. I got a cloak in for my leader as well. We got a good vortex lightning, and with that being said, that Atriox is going to go down real fast. That Atriox was taken out entirely. The ability was used for Atriox though, where his units are going to stay alive for a little bit longer than they should. But it looks like we have relatively good control of the map in general. So heading over to Tech 2, getting our second base, and then all of a sudden I noticed on the mini-map, oh no, here's blue with a bunch of elite rangers, and here's light blue with a bunch of flamethrowers attacking my teammate's base. Immediately trying to send as much reinforcements as possible, and so now my shipmaster is starting to get to work. We're going to go ahead and try and take out as many units as we can. We got a ghost that's also just there to just see if it can take any sort of damage. So we got a lot going on. I'm here setting a grunt at the bottom to give vision for that expansion base, because this is where my teammate is going to have to expand one way or another. We upgrade Shipmaster, and then we start making a foundry right away. And look at that, they're using a transport to go ahead and send them over to my base. Fortunately, Pavium was already in a very good position. Pavium starts heading over to my base, and he gets with a decent Y move to start doing some damage. And now the ghosts are coming in with the ram at this point, because we want to try and deal as much damage as possible. They tried to focus fire on the Pavium, wasn't able to do so. We got a rank 1 Shipmaster now, and they're doing damage on the base, but I'm not really too worried about it because there's a Pavium right there. And so Blue just let off the pedal for whatever reason, and so now I'm making a second foundry as well, and we're starting to make some marauders to get into our army. And it looks like we have a level 2 Shipmaster, and we end up holding just fine because Shipmaster Pavium and Shipmaster together made a very good combo for stopping that situation in general. So our teammate Red is drastically behind. Unfortunately, Cleansing Beam comes down, and it does a lot of damage to these elite enforcers. We end up taking out around 2 or 3 of them and gets the rest relatively weak. So we got Ghost coming in on one side with Marauders to try to help clear out the remaining of the army. And it looks like his base is barely going to hold, but it does nevertheless. So now we got two factories. I'm gonna call them factories. I don't know what they're called for Covey. I play Covey a lot. What am I saying? Anyways, we're trying to get more units out, and it looks like their Atriox actually ends up staying over here. So I had to send my leader right back just so I can go ahead and start doing damage to this Atriox. And now I'm starting to make some Reavers, and I'm also getting the reinforcements upgraded. Now I know I'm still at like 12 population, so it's not really needed, and there's better ways to spend the power, but I decided to go with that nevertheless. Had to cancel a Locust upgrade just so that I can go ahead and get the power generator upgraded. Now we got our Shipmaster versus the Atriox. Great slam by their Reaver, but I mean, I have a level 2 right now, and so they do have invincibility. Retreating the Shipmaster just a little bit, but the Marauder is placed perfectly such that it's doing damage to both the Reaver and Atriox. And Pavium comes in with the good Y move, and after that, Shipmaster is still doing damage and ends up killing the leader. Dying Breath has now gone away. I'm glad I remember that ability now. And now we're going with some Engineers. We're also going with some Locusts and Reavers now, and we have ourselves a level 3 Shipmaster. We have a Ghost, which is why that ability is pretty good, because I'm going to go ahead and capture that node on the left side. Meanwhile, our mid, our orange, he is going air. When I play with him, he's all air all the time. That's what he believes in dearly, even if we tell him otherwise. So anyways, we got a bunch of Locusts and Reavers starting to show up. Shipmaster went through the teleporter, and we noticed, hey, base is coming up. Let's see if we can go ahead and get some sort of damage in here. And the Reaver was able to go ahead and take an Engineer out right away. And so we're going to go ahead and just keep trying to streamline as much reinforcements as possible and have our Shipmaster deal as much damage as possible. Now, I did get displacement, and now looking back at this game as we speak, I think the best move would have been the drop in general. I don't think a displacement was something I needed. My army could have been a lot more beefier if I ended up getting that. But anyways, Locust ends up dropping down, Shield Generator ends up getting taken out, and now it's my Shipmaster versus the Atriox. The Atriox can't see my Shipmaster because it went invisible. Blue is making a lot of Marauders, but the Shipmaster is still going to keep going at it because it has Cloak. It can't be seen at the moment, and it looks like their Atriox gets taken out again. So Shipmaster's going ham, destroying everything in there. We're chilling right on the teleporter, but then these Hunters and Marauders start showing up, so that was my cue to go ahead and get going. I'm trying to target a little bit of units that I can with the Shipmaster, but all in all, we end up retreating as a whole, but we did take out Green's base, which was actually pretty darn good. So we're a little bit short on power, so I end up self-destructing one of those supply depots so I can go ahead and get a 4th generator. Just given with how heavy everything's going, and it looks like Green has left the game. I would say it's Green because that's how I remembered it. And you see Blue's mini base on the right side. So I have a relatively strong army, so I decided to go ahead and start going all the way to the left side. Arbiter has shown up on the right side of the map, thinking about using a cleansing, but I decided, you know what, it's not worth using a cleansing. I think my teammate's going to go ahead and handle that situation. And so notice that blue has a base on this left side, so we're going to go ahead and bring down that barrier. And then we're going to go ahead and go with our push on the left side. And it looks like our teammate that was getting attacked by the Arbiter is going to get handled by the mass air that my teammate is going in. So Pavium ends up using his Rain of Fire, and now my Locust is coming in. My Shipmaster is also here, and things are just looking very good at this point. Teammate left. They did have a great rush, took out our teammate's main base, but unfortunately he was able to recover. A scatter bomb goes down, and it does look like we end up losing one engineer from this, but we end up destroying blue's base as a whole. And now all that's left is a little bit of light blue's army. He comes down with some tanks. I'm going to go ahead and cleansing beam this, because this is going to just, you know, give me a little bit of value here. Get rid of both the Nightingales, because you know they're going to be healing. And so then we end up taking out everything that is there. We got a Shroud going up to give us the cloak. Get that upgrade for Shipmaster to get permanent cloak in general. Tech 1 is finally about to be upgraded for our vehicles. But as you can see, this game is relatively over. We're going to continue our push all the way through to go ahead and try and take out as much units as possible. And there goes blue trying to push right up through the middle with Marauders and Hunters, but orange has mass air, and so I wasn't too concerned about that. Didn't even bother looking at that match. Instead, I have Shipmaster pushing on my side, so I'm taking out bases, using Shipmaster to kill tanks, and that's about it. I wanted to keep this one relatively short. I'm not really feeling the best, still recovering from sickness, but I wanted to go ahead and commentate a video nevertheless. And look at that, 2 tanks coming in, and they end up resigning anyways. And so that was a good W that ended up happening. 2 rank 99s and a 25, and we had me and my other teammate was 99, and then we had one that was 51. I went 10 for 52, my teammate went 2 for 22, my other teammate went 7 for 22. We were very positive, very efficient. Even though he lost his base, he did make the most of it. It was very efficient. You can't ask for anything more than that. So with that being said, have a good one. Have a splendid one. Until next time, G out.